what is your take? How did you feel the Lions played this week? I mean, I know you've had your comments and how do you think they fared so far as we go into what is kind of coming up into week 9?
Yes,
they're on their week 8 bye this week, right?
Week 8 bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I thought they played the defense played great, above and beyond what they probably should have, or at least what they were on paper, because they had 5 of 6 defensive backs not playing. They pulled people from the streets basically to go out on the field, and those guys played admirably. I've been a little bit disappointed with the Goff over the last couple of weeks. Missing passes, not being sharp. I don't think he's really been sharp. And I think last night you could say the same for Baker Mayfield. He missed a couple wide open passes that could have been touchdowns, and it was a little surprising as good as he's played all year. But that's always been his kind of knock too. Right. He's had hot and cold kind of nights. So I thought last night was a good game. It was fun to watch. It was tough. A lot of tough defense on both sides of the ball, and I think the Lions are ultimately. I think they're a better team than Tampa Bay, and I think they kind of proved it last night, especially defensively.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, I kind of figured that. Listen. I just feel like this is a much-needed win after that brutal loss, in my opinion, to KC, which they just kind of fell apart last week, and they needed this one. I don't think you could have went and lost 2 weeks in a row. And I think I seen a stat on Monday Night Football that said they haven't lost 2 games in a row in quite a while. Mm-hmm. There's kind of a streak going on with that.
Mm-hmm. It's 51 games. Yeah. They haven't lost 2 in a row. Yeah.
So don't you think that stigmatism of the old Lions is gone? What do you think? What do you guys think?
Come on, man. They're a much better team than they've been in the past years. The years that we grew up, they're a much better team. They're well coached. They have a great roster. Great players. It's nice to see a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs do things that we haven't seen since Barry Sanders, did. A 78-yard run from scrimmage. How many times have we seen that?
It's true.
Since Barry, So, we have a good roster. We got a great, couple great receivers. It was interesting to not see Williams involved in the game at all.
Not one target. And isn't that shocking? We really haven't seen much of him at all this year. And they just gave him that big...
He had a target. I'm sorry. He had a target, but it was a bad throw. He wasn't really open, bad throw, and it was, but that was it. I didn't see him open all the game. It was kind of weird. Early in the game, we were just marching. And they were throwing the ball to St. Brown. And for some reason in the second quarter, we went away from that, even though he was the only guy that was still open. He was the guy that was blocking. He was the guy that was open. And there was that fourth down play in the second quarter. St. Brown was open on the other side of the field, but they were keying on Tesla. And it was the wrong guy to throw to. If they'd thrown it to St. Brown on the other side of the field, it would have been touchdown. So it's kind of interesting.
The defense won, like you said, Goff shaky, but Goff isn't stupid. He plays within the game. He lets the defense dictate where he throws. That's who he is. He doesn't care. He's not gonna force. James, what's he called? James Williams. Yeah, he'll probably brown it in Philadelphia. He'll get to that point, I'm sure. But Goff, he's not going to do that. He's going to stay within the rhythm. What he sees is that's where he's going to go. If it means St. Brown 50 times, that's what he's going to do. If it means a check down to Gibbs, that's what he's going to do. He's not stupid. So he's going to make the play where the defense, whatever the defense shows, whatever it dictates, that's what he's going to do. Mm. That's how he plays. That's what it is. But he has not looked great, and I think he's been good. He's been solid, but I think the offensive line isn't the same as last year, so it's going to be problems moving forward. I think it's going to be problems moving forward with the offensive line. So, Gibbs, and then they were talking about getting Montgomery the ball more. No, I mean, whatever is working, that's what you stick with. That's why I don't understand Philly. Like, just, you're winning games. Go with what got you here. Go with what got you to the Super Bowl. So Goff is going to always do that. He's a smart guy. He's not going to overdo it, per se. He's not going to, just because you're begging for the ball or wanting the ball, he's not going to do that. If you're open, then he's going to hit you. Because he can't stand the pressure. So he's going to get that ball out.
Well, if he's smart, he gets that ball out quick.
Yeah.
Because he's not mobile enough to get out of the way.
Right.
And we saw that last night a couple times, too.
So you're not going to see him, the receivers coming back, and you're never going to see Goff doing this and doing that, come back. No, he's going to, boom, it's a system. That's what the Lions are. They're a system. He doesn't wing it. He's not going to wing it. That's what he does. And it's won them a whole bunch of games. So they're going to stick to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can live with that. Yeah. It's a system. It's a good system that works a lot.
It does. It's a good system.
And they're solid. And I don't know, Corey, over the course of the season, guys that tend to play together longer, they tend to get better as opposed to don't get better. So I think the offensive line will get better as the season goes on as opposed to the other way around, unless we have lots of injuries, So, the injury bug has got us again on the defensive side of the ball. It was great to see Alim McNeil get back, and he was solid in his snaps. What's interesting is Hutch as good as he's been. He looks winded sometimes in the games, and I wonder why they don't put someone else in there to give him a break or something.
I agree, but they don't have anybody.
Well,
Jojo.
He rushed to get back in shape to show everybody that he can get this $60 million and all this good stuff. So I think he has 5 sacks. I got a Starbucks bet that he doesn't get to 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Who made that?
How many games we got left? We have 9 games left? 10 games? Yeah, we got 10 games left. You don't think they'll? Oh man!
The reason why
I would love to come to Detroit and go to Starbucks with you.
Yeah.
I take that back. I'll take
Here's
that
the reason.
back.
Here's the reason why. So you play Hurts. He's smart. You see what happened when you played Mahomes. You play Daniels if he's better. You play Dak. You play a bunch. You play Stafford. You play a bunch of guys that can make it difficult to get to. That's why I took it. That's why I took the bet. You play a bunch of guys that are difficult to get to. Dak's line's coming back. They're getting together. They're gelling. It's hard. He's had protection. Stafford, you know what he does.
Well, I think he's going to get. I think he'll be over that. I actually said 20.
No way.
20?
Yeah,
I think that's.
I think it's over. I think it's
thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, he can put up if he stays healthy, he's going to get stronger throughout the year. He could put up a few sack game here, 3 or 4 here and there
against a fool against.
But it doesn't matter. It's the sacks. It's part of the stats.
Right. I understand it, but what I'm saying is those quarterbacks. He didn't get it against Mahomes. They don't do anything against good quarterbacks. We've seen this song and dance before.
He
doesn't do anything against quarterbacks.
Called back by penalties or, 2 of them. So that was kind of, unfortunate. He could have added to his stats on Mahomes. Mahomes was we shut down Baker Mayfield though last night too. I mean, our defensive line has improved, and they're solid. I can't believe the way that we have bull rushed Not every snap. It doesn't, obviously, but we pretty much stopped the run consistently in just about every game. And, we have, I don't know who any of those guys were that were playing in our backfield yesterday, but they were good.
They were good.
They had speed, and they played zone coverage as good as any of our stars have.
Thank you. That's my point. They were good, Joe. They were good, and the Lions, no matter who's on the field, the Lions play fast at home. It doesn't matter.
Well,
they always play great at home. And what's the big deal about who was out? The who was in? If the starters, these guys look just as good as the starters. Arnold stinks. Like I don't understand. Like everybody, our guys are out. Who is out that makes the difference?
Well, Joseph Branch.
Okay, so Joseph Branch. Now Joseph is a ball hawk. I think he's overrated. I think he's in the area where the ball. I think he's kind of like Dre Bly, who just was. Remember Dre Bly? He was always around the ball. He doesn't. I think they're overrated guy. Branch is, but I don't see this defensive backfield where everybody just, we're missing him. We need him.
I can't tell. I don't necessarily see him as being overrated, but certainly a ball hawk is a guy that that's playing the game
in the area.
He's watching what's going on, and he's reacting, and he's gifted enough athletically to make a play, which he does, or he takes advantage of a mistake. Same thing with Branch. Those guys are in the right place at the right time, and they're able to take advantage, and they've gotten interceptions because of that. As far as coverage, we don't have the greatest coverage backs, period. That's, there are some around the league, but those are few and far between, I think, overall with the whole league. There's not a whole lot of great coverage cornerbacks and safeties out there. There's a handful of them, and if you got one of them, you pat yourself on the back because it was a good pick during the draft. But our guys are solid, and they have size and speed, and that's pretty much what you need. And who was that kid that was showing out last night, man?
I'll tell you who. Are you talking about secondary or on the line?
Battlefield or Sinea or I don't know.
No, was his name Whiteside or something like that?
Yeah, Whiteside.
Yeah.
That kid made a couple great plays.
Did we?
Arthur Mallett?
I'm going to put
five tackles.
I'm going to put a little.
Eric Hallett.
I'm going to put 50 to 60% on Baker again. He turned back into Baker. He's not a great quarterback. He's not going to win you Super Bowls. He just got hot for a minute and blah 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 blah. And he's not good. He's short. He overthrew people. That's just what it is. And I'm going to rant this later, but it's just not. I mean, when you start beating great quarterbacks, wake me up. We've seen this song and dance before, 15-2. Then you lose in the playoffs. So all of this is just fun, hot dogs, tailgate, sodas, beer, family. Until you get to the playoffs and win, just get your record. Just get in the tournament, and we'll see what 16 does. That's what it's all going to come down to me again. You got the best back in football, arguably. And they play for these coaches. So at the end of the day, let's tailgate, let's watch the games, let's kick back to February.
Well, I'll tell you something.
Isn't that what everybody does, though, Corey?
What?
I mean, tailgate, have fun during the regular season.
Right.
Yay, hurrah for your guys, that are playing well when they play well. Oh, darn it, they didn't play so good one week and they lose a game. And then you get to the playoffs and you say, okay, well, let's see who's going to man up.
They do. But we know the Lions are going to get to the playoffs. Minnesota's whatever. We know the Lions are going to get to the playoffs, so we know that. So the rest of this is football. Football's king. What's going to happen when you get to the playoffs? This is what this team is. This is what this team is on now. It's no more league play. We know you're going to get past the league. We know that. Go in, button up. I don't want to hear health. Everybody's hurt. I don't want to hear that. Same song and dance from last year, 15-2. Get to the playoffs and see if 16, the most important position on the field, carries you over the hump.
Well,
that's it to this team.
That's quite simplistic approach there, Corey. But because there's more to that whole equation when it comes to winning Super Bowls, winning in the playoffs. But that's okay. That's to be expected out of a hater. A Detroit hater. It's crazy.
But I'll tell you something, guys.
I still can't believe it.
No.
I'll tell you something, Joe. I think we found our next big defensive end, and we got him, believe it or not, from the Cowboys.
Who? Sweat or Heat or whatever?
Tyrus Wheat.
Wheat. Oh, yeah, Wheat.
Yeah. He had a sack and a half last night. Yeah.
Yeah. He
came from the Cowboys. Maybe if the Cowboys would have kept him, they could have been a little better on that defensive line.
No, we're fine. We're fine. And Jerry Jones actually had the opportunity to be GM of the year. Pickens is ridiculous. So had he kept, people keep forgetting that. Dak is out of his mind. If he would have kept the nut job with the Packers, GM of the year, easy. Pickens is going berserk. So that's going to be another good game too. I think you guys probably win it because our defense has yet to be clicked in, but we're looking at Crosby, and if we get Crosby, lights out. But I don't know how you stop CD and Pickens. Good luck with that.
You think Crosby will leave? He's going to leave Vegas to go to Dallas?
They're talking about it. It's in the works.
Are they going to be able to pay for him?
We can pay anybody. We always have. If Trey Wingo is saying it, it's possible. I'm just saying. So I didn't like you guys are. So the difference is that you guys get so with these wins. Dak put up 44 yesterday, but there was no Deebo Samuel. There was no other receiver. That's you do that. So I'm still not impressed. You go lose to the Bears. So I'm not impressed with it. Finish in the playoffs. That's it. Dak didn't beat anybody yesterday. The kid got hurt. Deebo was gone. The other Richard McLaren, nothing. And Washington's old. Everything is playoffs, especially with the Lions.
Okay, with everybody, it's all about the playoffs.
Because there's no expectations. Carolina Saints, that's not. Come on, that's no expect. Kansas City Lions, Green Bay, no Rams. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think the elite teams are already starting to show themselves. And I think Lions are in that.
They
equation,
are elite. They're elite. If you cannot say they're elite, they got too many weapons not to be.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll come down to Kansas City and Philadelphia and in the long run though, Corey, when it gets to the playoffs time, I've always said whoever's on the field, at the end of the season is going to determine who's going to win those games. And
you mean health wise?
Yes,
yeah, health wise.
And that's already a story that's been traveling around the NFL all season. Is there's been a lot of injuries to a lot of key players and a lot of teams that had great expectations are they're kind of going by the wayside because they don't have those players. And as well as everybody, it's about whoever's on the field.
Right.
So, it doesn't matter who, if you got backups, they all talk about next man up, and that's great to have a guy that's talented that can fill a role to a degree. But it's the great players that rise to those occasions. The Tarek Screwballs, the freaking Shohei Otanis. My God, I can't believe they took Screwball out in the sixth inning. I was just. His last pitch was 101 miles per hour for a strike.
And
we took him out.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. We're going to bring that topic back up because I think Scooble quit. Not saying he quit; he's a quitter. I think I've had enough. I think it was on him.
You think he told Hintz that?
I think so.
I haven't heard that report at all. He didn't look like he was done in the dugout afterwards.
But you know what, though? It didn't seem like he was mad that he was out of the game. That's the only thing that got to me.
But Scooble's bigger than Hinch. He's bigger than Hinch. So if you want to stay, you stay. Scherzer did it the other day. Scooble's bigger than Hinch.
So you're saying he would intimidate him? Is that
No,
what you're
I'm saying I got the ball. I got this.
Yeah, like Jack Morris used to be with Sparky.
You know what I mean? No, not like that, Joe. I'm just saying like you're the guy. This is it.
Yeah.
I just think Scuba said he had. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. You know what I mean? But
Scherzer's stand was impressive though. He was like, man, I'm taking this ball. Get out of here.
I'm staying. Yeah, get out of here. Going to World Series.
I got this.
Yeah. So I would think with Scuba, he's throwing 101.
Well, maybe so. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That performance by Ohtani was incredible.
Thing for the ages, for sure.
Yeah.
Three homers and pitching lights out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, before I let you go, Joe, because we're running out of time, give me your viewpoint of how the Red Wings have played, because we haven't really tackled any Red Wings, and you're kind of like the Red Wing guy.
Well, you know what? Glad you asked. The Red Wings, I watched the first game against Montreal, which was a 5-1 drubbing. We scored the first goal in the first period, and then it was like all downhill after that. Our coach McClellan did exactly what he needed to do, and he shook the team up by sending a couple guys down to the AHL, a couple guys that had been regulars, and started the trade talks right away. And they responded with 4 straight wins. The Red Wings are a good team. They're a solid team. They should be able to make the playoffs. Yzerman has taken a lot of flack about the length of time it's taking him to raise a team. And I think there's some validity to that. Detroit's pocketbooks have historically been very tight when it comes to paying players to come to the city and to play to play on their teams. The Lions were, they were arguably the worst freaking ownership for, decades. Next to Sterling with the Clippers, they were the worst owners in the entire country. If you look at the ability for Detroit to draw a good team, on ice in particular, being an original 6 team, those guys used to flock to Detroit. They wanted to come and play. But now they don't want to come here and play under Yzerman and the McCollins. You're kind of tight. I think they're riding the ship. McClellan's a good guy to right the ship. And NHL, dude, it all comes down to goaltending. Okay. So we went out and we took Anaheim's goalie, who was, he's basically at the end of his career. Mm-hmm. He was the guy that got shellacked on game 1. And they took him out and they put in Cam Talbot, who is a little bit younger, but he's also, on his way out in his career. So the Lions or the Red Wings still are lacking that outstanding, stand on your head every night goaltender that you need to win the NHL, championship, the Stanley Cup. So I'm waiting to see that come to town. And when that happens, then we can really talk about, contending for a championship.
Okay. So we're going to bring you back, Joe, because I always say this year I'm going to really, really pay attention to this and that as far as hockey goes. So I want to do a segment with you because I want to understand it. So I have some questions. We're going to do a hockey piece. Bring you back, just talk some hockey, and because I want to understand a couple of things, the rules and this and that and all that. So okay. I'm going to be watching closely because I'm an Yzerman fan, but I do want to have you back. You seem very knowledgeable about it, obviously.
Of course he is.
Yeah, we're gonna dissect into it, and we're gonna have that hockey piece set up for you.
And you'll have to put on your hockey jersey, Joe.
Yep.
No problem. Got him. and I'm glad to hear you say you're an Yzerman fan because he's in my era, he's my favorite player of all time. Yeah. Next to the Wayne Gretzky's and Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr. Those guys were incredible too. And I could go back before those guys, but I love Steve Yzerman. I want him to be successful. I think he's a Detroit guy, and I think we need to keep him around and making decisions with our club. So I would love to talk hockey on the show.
Absolutely.
Sounds good, JoJo. Well, listen, thanks for calling in tonight. I know it's hard for you to get in sometimes because it's 3 hours behind.
Appreciate you.
And you're out there in sunny California, and it's raining here, but it's all
Is
good.
it? I'm sorry to hear that.
Never
I
rains in Southern
know,
California.
I know. JoJo, thanks for coming in, and we'll talk to you hopefully next week.
Yep.
We'll
All
get
right,
you
Joe.
on.
All right, gentlemen, take care, and thanks for having me on again. And you guys have a great rest of your week.
You too, Joe.
man.
Thanks a lot, buddy.